So I wanted to get to the next question that we were talking about is the question about living an authentic life and one of power, and this leads us to your 5 principles of change. So maybe you could talk to us about that, and the first principle of purpose, and maybe you can gear it to the power.
Yeah, exactly. Let me help segue.
Okay,
right?
Go ahead, do that.
Because I designed this. I mean, this is what I've actually come up with. I call it, Wado, the way of philosophy, the way of harmony.
We're showing all your contact information if they're interested in following up on that.
So the first part is what I call the inner work. You've got to be clear of what's important to yourself, which is you start with the listening, the awareness, the transitional way, and get to the creative change, right, and the alignment.
Right.
There, at that point, you now know this is what I really like to do. This is what I want to do. Now, in a sense, you could say that's mind, body, spirit integration, right? You could get there, but we do live in a world around us. We've got to pay bills. We've got to get jobs, right?
Yes.
So my work's about helping people make that change. You've got to be committed and actually take action. So in that step, so once you get the inner school, you now have the ability, once you go through that process, to answer the first question and now say, okay, for the sake of what am I going to do anything? And that's a principle of purpose. Specify it. As an individual, you can specify it. I want to help people move powerfully, right, to a place of prosperity for them, whatever that means. Right? So that's my sense of purpose individually, and I do that for individuals, and I do it for corporations. I'll do it for a nonprofit. The rules don't change, right? But that's my sense of purpose.
Okay, and the next one's a prosperity principle.
Exactly.
Prosperity.
So wherever you go, they say love makes the world go round, but just a few dollars will add. We'll make it go around better, right? So the money is important, absolutely important. Even nonprofits need money. Even they have a budget.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You see? So understanding your numbers is very important. What's your sense of prosperity? And guess what? Prosperity, in India, where I come from, is very different to, somebody in, say, Hillsborough, here in the Bay Area, right? Their sense of what's enough. And it's a very personal journey. There's no value, judgment associated, but the individual has got to know what's my sense of prosperity, what am I trying to accomplish, right? Then the next step is, and very often for people in jobs, when I work with people, they're trying to make a career change. I had a lady that was not very happy with the job, not had enough money. And going through my process, she realized, and she was an IT person in the Bay Area here. Technology programmer. And one thing led to the other, and she realized, my gosh, she went through the process, she always wanted to be a movie director.
That's quite a change.
And she went to De Anza College and kept her job, went to De Anza College, and did the course in cinematography or something like that to be an assistant director. And just now, actually, she'd say, Paul, I've only slept 4 hours, but I feel so energized. And took that vibrance that she got and went back to the workplace and got a $20,000 raise.
Wow.
Right? That was the hot piece. Because she realized she needed money to go buy the new computer. It was an Apple or something that she needed, and for the editing and stuff for that. But it fed because it's all energy. She was oscillating, she was vibrating, she was empowered.
That's a great story.
And actually went living her dream. So
is that one of the things you advocate is not waiting to do something that energizes you, do it in parallel and let it drive you through?
All you got is now. All you have is now. So the money is the next important step. And whether you're a business or an individual, you have to know your numbers. It's very, very important. Then the next one is process. Now that you know the numbers, process, right? You know what your purpose is, you know what you're trying to accomplish, you know how much money you require to do that, how are you going to do it? It's very simple. Are you going to get another job? Maybe you get a side job, Maybe your business needs a partner. Maybe you need 2 more salespeople. Maybe you need to hire me, right? What is your process? Now, if you're a business, if you're trying to grow a $20 million company or a $2 million company, the process will be very different. So you can't even address what do I have to move around and nip and tuck and this and that or whatever, unless you know your purpose and you know how much money you're trying to accomplish. Keep it very grounded. Now, once you know the process that you will have to follow, then you start assessing that my next principle is a principle of people.
Yeah.
Who are the people in your life? Right? Who's in your A team, your B team, if you would, right? If you're an individual looking for a job, what is your network of help? Who are the people that you can call? I call it your kitchen cabinet, as in kitchen being the warmest place in your home, and as in political cabinet.
Right, right.
Right? And I say, who's in your kitchen cabinet?
I've heard people say these people are my board of directors.
Yeah.
They're just a personal board of directors.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right? Because there's not much we can do alone. You know, there's not much we can do alone.
Yeah.
And I say, let's call it. You know, it's this whole thing of I can go the distance alone, and that machoism is really, that's the old school.
Rugged individual.
Yeah, no, that really doesn't work. It's the more, you know, I've met a few people that I look up to, and you know, very successful business people, and one common thread is the more powerful the person is, the more they ask for help, the more people they have around them.
Really?
Absolutely, without a doubt, without a doubt. And it's the arrogant people that I see around me that, you know, just, I can do it myself. Like, why?
That's fascinating.
You know, and it's something I really watch for, because it tells you a lot, even with friends, you know, it tells you a lot about the personality, how much it's a dance, you know, life's a dance. Mm-hmm. And there's something about the humility to receive, and in that is the greatness. Okay. And it's, yeah, so that's the fourth one.
Right, and the last principle of the 5 is practical leadership.
It's my favorite.
It's your favorite?
It's my favorite. And I'll tell you why, because I think the marketplace is absolutely too competitive to be anything but, rather to think anything but like a leader. You have to think like a leader. Because we're always bombarded by problems and situations. Life is a moving deck of cards. Everything's always coming at you. Nothing is consistent, you know. You take a step and they've taken 3 the other way. Now, are you going to take leadership in how you know, to make the right assessments for yourself? Or are you going to wait for a situation? Mm-hmm. You're going to wait, not necessarily a handout, but just wait for the right situation. I hear that a lot.
So be proactive rather than reactive?
Yeah, it's managing the priorities that are associated with whatever you're committed to, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. If you're an individual that has gone through, in my case, the steps of personal transformation, and you know what you really want to accomplish, mm-hmm. and you're in a job that's very different to where you want to be. If you don't think like a leader, how's it going to happen? Mm-hmm. Even if it means asking for help. Leaders, right, cannot lead people unless they want to follow. Who's leading?
How interesting.
Right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to go somewhere, ask somebody, in quotes, lead you, open a door for you. Mm-hmm. But that's practical leadership on your part. Right? Because really the followers are leading the leader. Right? But you have to think that way. It's about empowering people to help you. Now, no one's going to help you unless really there's something back in return for them. It may be love, it may be their sense of satisfaction, but you got to know what it is. And I think if there is no integrity, no honesty, you'll fail in today's world. Absolutely fail.
Yeah. Right?
So in fact, I say, I don't even talk about integrity and honesty as separate principles. First they were, because I like the number 7, and I had the principle of integrity. Then I said a handful's enough. But integrity and honesty are absolutely my floating principles. And with that, if you have practical leadership, I think you'll experience untold benefits.